Hello, hello, my beautiful queens. How are you doing? I'm coming here to you primarily because I had this inspiration this morning to talk about beauty standards, and I really had this download this morning about this beautiful example of what it is that we should be seeing in ourselves as far as our bodies. And a beautiful example that I have downloaded was that our body is decanter with the beautiful aging wine, and wine ages even more with age, right? And it's becoming more fine, and it's becoming more tasty, and it's becoming better with time, right? And if it's 100 years old, it's really expensive, right? And so our soul and our body is this beautiful container, and I don't like the word container, but I do like the word decanter that holds the wine. And the wine is our personalities, our souls, everything that makes us us, and that is what our body holds. And when we nourish that part of ourselves that's becoming bigger, better, more expansive, right? And expensive not in the money part, but in the bigness part. It's becoming bigger, more grow, we take more space, we expand, right? And our body holds all of that. So there is a masculine and there's a feminine approach, right, that I'm talking about. The feminine is everything that we contain within ourselves, our soul, our energies, our feelings, where the masculine is materialistic. It's everything that we hold in the container of a body, right? And so it's a play between feminine and masculine at every single level and at all times. It's a balance. My mentor once said, there is never a balance. It's always a balancing act. And I can't stress this enough, because we're never gonna find a balance. And we are meant to be off balance, as a matter of fact. There's never an equal point. There is always a fluctuation, and it's intended this way. It's intended to move us forward. And so bringing that idea back to what it is about our bodies that are containers, that are decanters for the soul, the personality, the ideas that we carry, the values so important. Values are so important. And as we grow, we only become more beautiful. And there is this idea now in the society that we women should show our imperfections publicly. And it's a double sword for me, because on one end I completely understand and accept that idea, and I love the cause, and I am all about embracing your imperfections and really normalizing your imperfections, because we as a society, as a culture, has developed this idealistic image of a woman that a regular woman can't sustain or maintain or even get close to that, right? And we are meant to embody that image that society wants us to embody. And now even men expect us to always be pretty, always wear makeup, always be skinny. And I hear endless stories from women who coming to our boudoir studio that are saying that, my man, like my ex, told me that my ass was fat, or he, made these comments that I gained weight and he doesn't like me enough anymore. And so men are influenced by that societal value that a woman has always have to, be sexy and wear lingerie. And as mothers, especially, we simply not there with the mindset and with the time, and we can't match that idealistic image of a woman that men want us to embody, right? And so lots of women are raising up against that and saying, I don't care for that image. I am who I am. I love myself for who I am. I'm so done criticizing myself and judging myself for everything that I am not and everything that I can't even become, right? So I completely support that. I support that. But this is where this idea fails for me, is when I meet women who are the radical side, the radical aspect of this. And I'm not exactly supporting the idea of a feminism. To me, the standard feminism is about a woman becoming manly, and basically she wants to be treated as a man. I don't support the masculinity of a woman, if that makes sense. But what I do support is equal rights and equal pay and all of that. I don't support the fact that we even as women, our bodies are not structured the same way. We are meant to move and dance and carry children, and men are developed through the society where they are about the strength and lifting things. And if a woman comes to me and says, I'm a feminist and I want to be a dude and I can lift things, I'm not exactly aligned, and I'm not gonna judge you if you are. That's totally fine. I am I embody the this idea that the world has so many dimensions and the world has so many sides, and there is a place to be for each and every idea out there. And if you came to experience that idea, that's wonderful. I'm not gonna judge. I'll still love you and accept you. We all have a place for our own opinions and our own ideas, absolutely. But I am talking for me, and I'm talking about my own perspective. And I'm talking about the perspective where I personally enjoy the feminine aspect of embodying the feminine way. Right? And I'm almost calling myself a different kind of feminist that supports the feminine movement, that supports the feminine empowerment versus the feminist approach that supports the masculinity of a woman, if that makes sense. And so, and feminine empowerment for me, you want to still be and stay a woman. And for me, this is more about embodying who you are as a woman. This is more about embodying your S shape and curves. This is more about standing in your own feminine truth. This is more about being in your feminine beauty. And I am absolutely all about maintaining the feminine beauty in a feminine way. And I am supporting the makeup, and I'm supporting the lipstick, and I'm supporting the beauty industry, and I'm supporting it's when you take this idea to the extreme that you have to have that kind of ass and your boobs need to be big. It's like this very narrow-minded idea of what a woman beauty should be like and look like is what I am not supporting. And feminine beauty is different in different cultures too. Our Western beauty has become this Kim Kardashian look. And have you noticed the trend? Every time I talk about this, it's like almost feel like I'm too old, because I keep seeing like, hey, in the past it was different, but it was different in the past. And if you look at 90s, there was this completely different body type that was popular, and it was a skinny girl. And back in the 70s, or was it 70s or 80s? I can't even remember. Now that is definitely outside of my range there. But there was a very masculine body type in a woman that was popular back then, right? And now it's more about the curve and the the bigger boobs and bigger breasts and bigger ass, right? So like the Kim Kardashian is now setting the trends, right? And so even in our own Western culture, the beauty standard has changed, and it will continue changing. And guess who's changing the beauty standards? We women. We women are changing beauty standards. And so that is why there is this movement of, hey, there's body positivity and body imperfections. And I am personally following multiple accounts of regular women with normal body types that are representing and normalizing those body types too. So we as a culture, and we women, and individually, we have the power to change that perspective. And I am all about what's happening. But the biggest takeaway from this, don't stop there, right? Don't stop improving. Don't stop wanting to be even more beautiful. Don't stop going for it and still loving yourself the way you are. Right? Back when I was probably in my 17s, maybe 18s, I went through a period where I was a little overweight, and I wasn't happy with the way I looked, and I started exercising. And what I have realized is when I started losing the weight that I didn't love, I was losing it from a place of loving myself versus from a place of hating myself. Meaning, the more I started falling in love with the idea of the skinny me and beautiful me, that is when the weight started coming off. Versus the idea before that, when I was like looking in the mirror and just really hating myself and hating how I looked and hating how round my face was, and I hated the belly. So it is when I came from a place of loving the new me, and within the old me, right? When I fell in love with this idea of me becoming beautiful, of me becoming skinnier, of me wearing certain other dresses, of me almost embodying a little bit of a different persona, when I fell in love with that person, I became that person. I became that person, and that was the moving factor in me changing, falling in love with the new me that is still the old me. And the new me was still the old me, but better and improved version of me. And I defined myself who I wanted to be. And I defined myself how I wanted to be. And I defined for myself, no, this is no longer the fashion I want to pursue because, it's bulky and it's hiding my body parts, but I actually want to highlight my body, right? And when I fell in love with this idea, I became more motivated to go and work out and eat healthier and follow, the regime and be motivated to become that person, because that idea that has pushed me forward. I love Tony Robbins because he says that there are two ways you can motivate yourself. It's either avoiding the pain or being inspired by, and I forgot how he words it, but it's either avoiding the pain, pain and pleasure concept, right? Avoiding the pain or following the pleasure. So I followed the pleasure and it worked for me so much better, right? I followed the pleasure of seeing myself new, revived, more alive, more embodied, more beautiful, right? Don't settle. That's the I wouldn't say a drawback, but there is a moment when we follow this philosophy of body positivity and becoming okay with our bodies. It is important to become okay with the bodies, but it's not gonna work for 95% of the women. I'm here to tell you that it is not gonna work for 95% of the women. It is only working for those few that somehow, some way decided that they're gonna fall in love with themselves no matter what, but I know it's not gonna work for the majority of you. And what will work is if you defined who is the woman, who is the new woman, and you start going forward, and that will continue your development. That will continue you wanting. We are meant as human beings, we are expanding and growing. And if we are not growing, we're going down and dying. That is how, there's no middle ground. You can't just stay still in one place. It's not how it works. So we are meant to grow. And I know that majority of you, it's not going to work for you to fall in love with your body. You will fall with certain aspects of it, but you wouldn't be able to accept all of it. You wouldn't be able to see your imperfections as beautiful. And some of you will, and I am so grateful that you will reach that state of self-love, that you loving your imperfections. But I know that majority of you won't. And in order to keep going and keep loving yourself, you would continue having this desire to make yourself better. And your idea of making yourself better will be completely different for each and every one of you. For me, my idea of making myself better, besides the growth of my spiritual journey, the ascension, right? In a body way, my making myself better looks like I'm gonna exercise better. I'm gonna want to have a little bit more tuned up body, not necessarily lose the weight, even though I can in certain areas. I could flatten my belly, I could even out my thighs and make my arms slimmer. My idea of making myself better could be, I'm really not happy with these wrinkles, even though I'm already pursuing Botox. I could make it better. I'm also not happy about certain areas of my face that is falling in. So am I 100% in love with my body? No. Do I think I'm beautiful? Fuck yeah. Do I stand for my beauty? Yes. And will I continue to make myself more beautiful? Of course. And I will find ways to make myself more beautiful. And I have already found ways. Even right now, I'm seeing, and I've been doing certain things to enhance how my eyes look and enhance how my lips look. And I will continue on this journey because I want to not so much follow the beauty standards. That does nothing for me, but I want to be happy with me the way I see me, and I want to be the better version of me because I know I can. And that is for me improving myself and making myself better. On other aspects, I want to learn how to pole dance, and I'm on that journey too. I haven't had the time, and I want to improve on the skill level. And I also know that will make me feel sexy, even more sexy. I know that different clothes makes me feel beautiful and good. I know that if I put effort into my makeup every morning, or the way my hair better looks. I will feel better about myself. That is what improving myself is. And in the past, I've met women who were very much into idea of body positivity and everything about the body, normalizing everything about the body, as far as hair, armpit hair, hair like shaving. So I've stayed together for an event with a woman who didn't shave. And that was her idea of body positivity, of normalizing the body. Now, if that's your choice, that's fine. For me, I do want to shave. I do not want to have unshaved armpits. I see beauty a little different, and again, there is a place for every philosophy. I'm not judging. I'm like, there's a room for everything. But there's also different ideas of how we approach things. And so for me, the feminine is about taking care of yourself. For me, the feminine is about going to spas and have spa treatments, right? That is more feminine and more beautiful, not more beautiful, but that is my idea how to practice self-love. Right? Taking care of myself and feeling better about myself and feeling better about my body and accepting that and making it better, right? And so shaving is one of the biggest aspects. I personally would not feel comfortable coming out not being shaved. And I know this is also coming from this idea coming from very radical approach of more of a feminist approach, more of a rebellious approach. Like, why do I have to follow the standards? Why the standards? It's more of a rebellious energy that these women are embodying because they're so fed up with following through societal standards. And while it is very important, there's still those standards that majority of us follow. And these women have chosen to take on that path of rebellion, which is absolutely fine. And I'm also believing that we, as human beings, are coming here to really learn different angles of the same perspective. It's almost like, and I've shared with someone recently, it's almost like we are reliving the same situations, but we experience them differently from different angle and deciding to learn what it's like to experience that particular angle of the situation. In the feminist approach, this would be, I'm reborn into this new life to experience the radical aspect of being a feminist and rebel. In another life, you're reborn into a life where you want to actually experience this glamorous side of being taking care of yourself and going to the spa and having those really luxurious experiences for yourself. And like I said, there is a place to be for everything, and all of that is literally meant to be the learning process so you can experience different aspects of life, so you can learn about yourself. It is so interesting how I've been struggling to really narrow down the message, the programming, the message, the program that I am developing, the really narrow it down and pinpoint to one thing and one thing only, and I couldn't because my philosophy that I've developed, it's about life and everything in life, right? And so but all of that came down to really the message of an identity, identity of who you are. And believe me, it took me 3 years, and I struggled 3 years to really, when I went in circles. And I went in circles, and I went in circles until I reached that circle point. And you know, if you are on a path of self-discovery, you're gonna go through in circles, and it might take years. For me, from the point I decided to coach to now, it's been 4 years. 4 freaking years, right? And for you, it might take just as much, or it might take longer. For me, it was even longer when I was on a path of learning about money and manifesting and creating money. That took me 10 years or more to get there and learn about that. So whatever path you are on, you will get there and you will find the answer, but it may take you years. So it is totally okay. It is totally okay to take your time and really learn what you need to learn, so you can learn that lesson and become the strongest version of yourself after learning that lesson, right? So my main point of this conversation today is really embrace both sides of the philosophy about body positivity, and yet not stop growing, right? Embrace and normalize body imperfections. And also, it's okay to absolutely love the makeup and love the beautiful dresses. And I think what is happening in a society, there's this polarity. Like, it's my way or the highway. You can only be body positive and you can't enjoy the makeup or be pretty, right? Or it's the other side of the coin where women's like, ooh, shaving is... not shaving is gross and like all that stuff, right? But what I am here to bring to you to the understanding of that both sides have place to be in this world, and you also can be both, and you can embrace the philosophy of embracing your imperfection to an extent, and you can embrace the philosophy of continuing improving, whether it's spiritual growth, your inner growth, or it's improving your body and really, we live in an age of plastic surgeries now. Some women would frown upon, but deep down, they would actually want to change their body because they would be deeply unhappy about certain aspects of their bodies. And instead of judging other women who went for it, I want for you to embrace that as a blessing, that we have those opportunities nowadays that we didn't have just recently. There was this post on social media not so long ago that I've seen where they compared how women in their 60s looked just 20 or 30 years ago, and how we look now. And we are able to preserve youth for so much longer. And even if you look at celebrity figures like Jennifer Lopez, and she's working for that look. Don't take that for granted. Don't think she's a lucky one. She's working her ass off at the gym every fucking day. And don't take that for granted that, that there's Vera Wang had her, oh my God, I can't remember what her age is, but she looks incredible for her age. She looks incredible for her age. Madonna looks incredible for her age. And yes, and that's fine if certain women choose the path of plastic surgeries. Be blessed that those opportunities exist nowadays. Like, Botox didn't exist just recently, and we are blessed that we can look prettier. Fillers didn't exist just recently, and now we have all the opportunities in the world to maintain the youth, and it's amazing, and it's a blessing, and I want for you to look that way. And if you will choose to look natural and age gracefully, that's okay too. Again, I don't want to polarize you. The world is trying to polarize you right now. That they're trying to break you up into categories. They're trying to polarize you with the vaccines, with the black movement. They're trying to polarize you on so many levels now. And I want to tell you that there is one. You are all one, and you are all at peace, and you are one. Right? Don't fall under that pressure of polarization. Don't fall for it. They are trying to separate you and disperse you, and it when we are one, we have the power. But when we break ourselves down into categories, we lose that power, and we are being defeated much easier in that way. So don't fall for the polarization. They're doing it on purpose, but just remember that there is a place to be for every single one of you. There is a place to be for every philosophy that you follow, for every belief that you have. And in the end, we are different sides of the same coin, and we are one, and we are power. So if you stand for what you believe, and if you stand for who you are, and if you stand for your opinion, and if you stand in your own authenticity, that is what I call a powerful woman who is freaking fire. Who is fire. She's on fire. There's no walls that exist for her. She can do anything. She can be anything. And I know that you too can grow to that level where nothing else matters but your own value system, your own opinion that you follow, right? And you can be that woman, and you can create that woman. And remember how I shared with you my story? Follow from the place of love, not from a place of hate. Follow from the place of loving the new version of you versus hating the current version of you, right? Only then you will achieve progress that will inspire you, and you will want to be better and become the best version of yourself. And with that, my beautiful love, I'm so blessed to be here with you today. Thank you so much for joining me in on this beautiful conversation. Share your opinions or your thoughts either in the comment below